Okay, today we're going to talk about percent composition. Really short section in the notes, so won't be too long. Percent composition is looking at, so if we're looking at water, what percent of water is made up of oxygen by mass or hydrogen by mass? So what percent of an element makes up that whole compound? So what you do is you take the molar mass of the element, and that N in front is how many, so let's say water. If we're looking at the percent of hydrogen, it would be 2 for N because there's 2 hydrogen atoms in water. So it would be 2 times 1.01. If we were looking at the percent of oxygen, it would be 1 times 16. That would be the top part. And then the bottom is the molar mass of the compound. So you want the total molar mass. That wouldn't change no matter which element you're looking at the percent composition for. That would be the same because the molar mass of the compound doesn't change. And then we want it in percent, so you would multiply by 100 to get a percentage. Now if we want all of the elements in the compound, all of those percentages added up should equal what? 100, yep. So for example, phosphoric acid is a colorless, syrupy liquid used in detergents, fertilizers, toothpaste, and carbonated beverages for the tang flavor. Calculate the percent composition by mass of hydrogen, phosphorus, and oxygen in this compound. What do we need to know first? Well, how many hydrogens are there in phosphoric acid? Are you sure? What should we do first? We need to figure out what the formula for phosphoric acid is. So what is... Oh, what color of ink should I use?
Yellow.
Orange was first. So how many hydrogens? 3. Because phosphate is 3 minus. And what is phosphate? There we go. So you can't forget how to write formulas or name compounds. We will use that for pretty much the rest of the year. So now, if we want to find the percent composition for hydrogen, how many hydrogen atoms do we have? So we have 3 times the mass of hydrogen is 1.01 over, what's the total mass? We have 3 times 1.01 plus phosphorus is 30.97. I'm just getting these numbers from the periodic table. Someone's going to need to calculate that for us. Okay, so that would be on the bottom here. Oops. Oh, actually, let's say that we have to multiply by 100. So what percentage is that? How much? 7? 3. 3%. Okay. What about phosphorus? What would be our equation we'd have? Over, we still use 98 as our mass of the compound. And what percent? 31. 31.6. Oh no. 0.6%. Okay. And then oxygen. Now there's two ways we could find oxygen. We could have our 4 times 16 over 98 times 100. That would be fine, and you get 65.3. All right. Okay. Or what's the other way we could do that? We could have, we know all of them need to equal 100, so we could do 100 minus 3 minus 31.6. What? 3.1. If you're going to decimal. Okay. And if you add them all up and it gets to be like 99.9, that's fine. It's just a little bit of rounding different, but that would be fine. Questions? No? Let's see what the next one, if it's a different type of problem or not. It is a little different because we can use these percentages now to do some calculations. It says chalcopyrite, it gives a formula, is a principal mineral of copper. We want to know the number of kilograms of copper in 3,710 kilograms of chalcopyrite. Oh. Skip to this one. Is it the ascorbic acid one? I think we'll do that once we do it determining our empirical formula. We'll do that one tomorrow. So if we know a percentage of that compound is copper, we can, no matter how much of that compound we have, it's always going to be that certain percentage of copper. So what we need to do is find the percent of copper first. So what would be our, we would want to do 1 times, what's the mass of copper? 63. Okay, over, does anyone have the mass of the whole thing yet? Iron is 55.85. And sulfur is 32.07. You guys agree? Someone else do it? Yeah? Okay. So what percent is copper? What? Oh. Yep. $23.49. Oh. For the mass. Okay. 183.49. Okay. So for the percent of copper, I have that written up right here. 34.7%. Do we agree? Have a couple of in agreement? Good. So no matter how much of that chalcopyrite we have, 34.7% of it is always going to be copper. So if we have 3,710 kilograms of that compound, 34.7% of that is copper. So what would we do? Multiply them. Do I take 34.7 times 3,710? No. How do I do that? 0.347 times however much of the compound I have. So out of that, 1,200 and... Okay. Out of that big amount of chalcopyrite, we have 1,287.37 kilograms of just copper. Okay. Now we're going to tomorrow use the percent compositions to figure out, if we don't know the compound formula, we don't know what it is, we're going to be able to use the percent compositions to figure out what the compound is and find its empirical formula. Okay.